I would not say Ghana is challenged or suffering with regards to our culture or tradition because Ghana is a modern state. So when you look at other nations like India, China, they are so advanced, but they still maintain their culture. So Ghana, as a modern state, is not struggling with our culture, but it has to do with our ethnic culture, where we have to look into or consider to work on very well.
Hmm.
Yes.
I see. Now, but from your vantage point, how have you seen our culture? I mean, the culture we're talking about change in recent decades.
Um, there has been a lot of modernization, like I said, and we are adapting in various ways in such that we've been in as much as our culture, most of them are spiritual. We try to take it to the world. Doing so, we educate and project what we have to 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 the modern world. So I would say um, there has been an advancement in whatever we do. The challenges are that um, there has been some cultural influences by the modern practices, by what we try to learn or copy. And that has been a disadvantage on the part of our culture. So briefly, I will say that.
Mm. But do you see these changes as a natural evolution? Because there's a school of thought that as time goes on, I mean, people will just naturally just be moving to other things because they are exposed to new things and all of that. Do you think this is a natural evolution or a loss that we have to be concerned about?
Yes. Um, like I said, we cannot say Ghana it is what it is years ago. Ghana has moved. There has been a lot of evolution. So when it comes to humans and development, it is progressive. So there has been evolution. But regards to our culture, these are primitive. Therefore, um, as Ghanaians, we have to um, cherish and appreciate what we have by not trying to copy Western culture. Yes.
I think that the second part of my question is whether we should be concerned about it.
Yes, it's a very concerned issue that we need to consider. So this has to be a collective responsibility by 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 Ghanaians, from government to traditional leaders. This is a concern which we need to tackle as a nation. So it's a great concern, and um, I I want to say to traditional leaders, including myself, chiefs, that we have to defend what we have as custodian of our traditions and culture.
Hmm. I see. But if nothing is done, or maybe just before that, as a custodian of traditions, and I like the fact that you talk to traditional leaders as well. What worries you most about the younger generation's connection to culture?
Yes. Um, the modern Ghanaian youth or the modern Ghanaian, I would say, do not have a problem because Ghana is developing like other developed economies or nations. But when it comes to our ethnic identity, this is something we need to hold in high esteem. Therefore, this is something that we as Ghanaians do not have to lose the sense of it. What we have, what distinguish us as Ghanaians from other parts of the world. So we need not to throw what we have in as much as we try to learn from also Western culture. We need to maintain regards to our language, the way we dress, and the way we do our things. I wish our discussion today will be in our dialect. So I will not call it local, but our dialect, because you travel and it might be an international language. But because we think that other nations are so-called developed nations are in a way higher than us, so we do localize what we have. But we need to understand that this is what we have, and we need to be proud of it and showcase to the world. So if we were to speak Chi, I think there are things we'll be able to express more in our local language to our listeners. But we are adapting because we want others to also hear what we have.
Absolutely.
Like we are discussing now. Yes. We need to show it to the world because ZED Multimedia is a global forum where the whole world is listening.
Yeah.
So we need to also show what we have by adapting. I always say that Ghana, we do say we are independent. How are you independent with the master's language, the colonial master's language, like we are speaking now? But we need to adapt. This is where we have come to, and it is part of us now. But we do not have to lose what we have as proud Ghanaians, regards to our language, the way we dress, and the way we do our things, our practices, what defines us as Ghanaians.
And let me dwell on that for a few minutes, and I want you to take us down memory lane. What are some of the things that you think that we've left in the past?
Yes. What we have left in the past, now democracy is sidelining traditional roles or the authority traditional leaders have, in the sense that what traditional leaders or the authority they have to ensure that their communities are in shape and aligns with customs are no more. So now a chief or a traditional leader will want to take a step. Regarding its customs, it has to go through some form of democracy or political ways before it can be done. So some of the things we do practice now have to go through process. Therefore, as chiefs or custodians of our culture, we find it difficult. to practice. Um, Sometimes, regarding our festivals, there are some things that cannot be done. Our languages in schools which needs to be uh, in in our dialect. So let's take for instance, there was an issue with Obake and Akwaba. Yes, we need to inculcate that in our schools. So now uh, we are doing English and other languages like French. Yes, it is important, but we need to maintain what we have, teach in the schools so that it can identify us as Ghanaians. You will not go to China and find uh, cheap uh, uh, prescriptions on products that you buy. It is in Chinese languages. It is in their language. Likewise in other countries. So we need to start from home what we have, things that we have left. We used to have our music in our languages, and our musicians are doing well, but they are trying to copy other Western culture. So I have made mention of music, our language. These are things that we are leaving behind and we are lacking. We need to uh, put in place uh, to define us as Ghanaians, to
But
identify us well. Yes.
and but for the music, don't you think it is because of the global audience they want to also be serving? For instance, if you're doing Chi and you want to serve a global audience and they don't understand, don't you think that that could be quite problematic?
Yeah, we've had uh, musician artists who whose songs are in their indigenous languages, and they even won Grammy awards. You get it.
Mm.
So I think it has to do uh, with the style, the unique style of how we do our things. So you don't only communicate language, but the way you portray it. That also shows something to the global world. Yes.
Mm. Permit me to take you back a bit, and you keep using the expression "what we have."
Yes.
What we have. I want to know what exactly, if you can be more specific.
Yes. So in Ghana, our way of dressing, look at what we have with um, kente clothing. This is unique, having some form of grass symbols in it and other materials that we sew to put on as Ghanaians.
Mm.
But here is the case that you find Ghanaians putting on other stuff that do not identify us. Our dressing, that is what we have. I can mention of our first president, Dr. Nkrumah. He portrays that. Yes, our chiefs, including us, we portray that. Asantehene, Okuapehene, or Chinhene, they portray that. So we need to learn this. There should be a time, maybe at your work, there should be days where you need to portray some of these things. Our proverbs, storytelling, using our languages, all these things we are losing it. Our culture heritage regarding the history we have, our history, we need to protect it, share it to the world, to let the world know what we have. So these are some of the things we have. Our history, even our food. we are copying the Western world. Now we have fast foods, junk foods all over, instead of taking what we have. And this has a challenge on our health. So there is a lot. Our foods, our native foods, our music, language, our traditional um, um, historic places where we can show to the world what we have. Yes. So as Ghanaians, we need to start from home. We need to conscientize ourselves to know who we are and live within as Ghanaians. Yes, it is good to adapt or to be modernized, but it has to come with a sense of responsibility. How are we going to be responsible? Responsible as Ghanaians to protect, to maintain what we have, like I earlier mentioned. So, responsibility. Who are you as a Ghanaian? Your responsibility as a Ghanaian tells it all.
Right. Okay. Now we'll take some of the things one after the other. But you spoke about traditional rules earlier being given to democracy and all of that. Is that to say that you think traditional leaders have lost their authority?
Ghana has evolved. Traditional leaders had authority because I always say that some of this system of government, you see, or how we govern our nation, the inspiration was taken from traditional system of governance. So where are they now? Because of democracy, traditional authority is being sidelined. And I will commend some chiefs we have in our country, like Asantehene, the Ochihines, the Okuapehines, for the great job they are doing, trying to enforce or defend what we have as a country. That is our cultural heritage. So, in one way or the other, yes, we have traditional or customary laws, but democracy has sidelined or has reduced the powers of traditional authorities in one way or the other, in the sense that we have a lot of freedoms and rights, so everybody seems to do what they want. But I am suggesting that our freedoms, or as much as we have freedoms and rights, it needs to be guided so that things are not done anyhow. So, to say traditional leaders have authority 100%, that is not it. There's no more there because of democracy, freedoms, and rights. I can give an example of what has just happened in Kumasi when a Ghanaian, an individual, was insulting Asantehene. Yes. So freedoms and rights are being misused, and it is really, really affecting. And I can say there are people who want to or who can even defend this. because of democracy. But democracy should not let us lose what we have. Ghana was built by our traditions and customs. Therefore, we do not have to neglect what we have. So traditional authorities, in one way or the other, are not as powerful as it was. Thank you.
Right now, this is not part of our conversation, but I want to ask anyway. I mean, you're free to answer or not anyway. There's been calls that traditional leaders should be very active. There's been calls like from people. Calls from people that traditional leaders should be at the center of the fight against Galamsey. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, that is true, because traditional leaders or chiefs are custodians of our lands. Yes, and therefore it is a great responsibility of chiefs to put a stop to it. There is no miner or whoever will want to mine that will not go through a process to see a chief. So traditional leaders are the number one responsibility. The land belongs to them. They are the custodians. And it is our responsibility to protect it. So that's true. That's true.
And a typical example that people have been giving is that the Asantehene, for instance, has the ability or the authority to, as their traditions demand, to not let people go out. After the passing of the Asantehene quite recently, and so the argument is that he has authority to simply say that, hey, stop illegal mining, and then that could be done. Do you think so?
Yes, there's what we call indigenous knowledge systems. It has been in practice for centuries, and till today they are in practice. So Asantehene, Okrapehene, Ochihene, Domahene, and chiefs like us can give commands, like what happened during the burial of the Asantehene, that no one should go out this time. So it is true. In preserving our natural resources, in preserving our land, as custodians, yes, we can do that. These things have been in practice. There are days we do not go to the forest. So Asantehene and other paramount chiefs or chiefs can issue such commands or statements for all these things to stop, like the Galamsey we are talking about.
But what do you think?
Yes.
No, sorry. Yes. What do you think is actually stopping them from doing so?
I am very honest, Chief, because I sit in place of my ancestors. The truth is, most chiefs are involved in this Galamsey. Therefore, they find it difficult. I remember I keep mentioning Asantehene. He was making a statement, and he said that all of us, or most of us here, knows those who are doing Galamsey. So it is our responsibility. We just have to stop. Yes, they are part of it. They are part of it. And these are because of their selfish interest. We need to think about the generation that are coming. We need to think about leaving a legacy that will benefit generations to come. So I would say the challenge is because most of them are part of it. Even people in government, they are doing these things together and not using the right ways. Is it benefiting the towns, the communities? The people are suffering. So it's all about them being part and finding it difficult to stop this thing. And I urge that, with all due respect, we think about Ghana, about the future of the generation that is coming, to put a stop to all these things. Yes.
I see. Right. Okay. Let's move away to. Let's move away from Galamsey and come to our conversation proper. And we're gonna talk about the languages for a few minutes. But now kindly hold on for me. Let me announce the phone line just in case somebody wants to drop a message. Please, if you want to send us a text, please feel free to send me a WhatsApp on 0544 321019 0544 321019. Or you can call me on 030395661, 030395661, and then I give you the opportunity to share your thoughts with us this morning. This morning, we're asking a question that is Ghana losing its cultural identity in today's world? And my guest is Nana Bekwin Dankwa. He is a Tufuhini of Adjeso Ekuapim, and he joins us this morning to have this important conversation. We're most likely going to be joined by a historian who is also going to add his voice to the conversation as we proceed. All right, Nana, so let's talk about the languages again. Now, Ghana has over 70 indigenous languages, and you hit the nail right on the head when you talk about the dominance of the English language in our schools and even in our offices. What does that mean for our identity?
Yes, it means that we are losing it. So in as much as we still, yes, you go everywhere, we use English, and I'll commend the government. The legislature, I think, not long ago, they were using our indigenous languages in parliament, and it was very exciting, and it made me especially feel as a proud Ghanaian. We don't have to neglect what we have. We need to maintain it. So I know there are programs that media stations like you portray in our indigenous languages, and I want to admonish that you continue to show what we have in our languages too. There can be a time where, since the word is modernized, so-called modernized, and we want to go global, yes, we can do tea and also have some interpretations in our languages. So you can see the churches doing. So I see this as a responsibility for all organizations, religious bodies, everyone. We have to keep on. You media, you people in the media, it is your number one responsibility. Because if imagine what we are talking or discussing now. How do it go out? It is through you. Yes. So you guys are doing a great job, and we need to continue. We don't have to lose it. This is our identity. It identifies us. It brings us together. Have us have a sense of belonging. Pride ourselves as Ghanaians. Yes. So it also makes us lose the pride we have in our language, because um, imagine to use certain words in our language, we find it difficult because we don't we, we don't continue to practice it. We don't practice it. So to express ourselves in our language, we find it difficult. Sometimes we find it difficult to mention some things in our languages because we do not practice it. So to pride ourselves as Ghanaians, we need to continue to 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 practice our language in all spheres of life or all walks of life. Yes.
I see. Right. But how much danger are our local languages really in? Can some disappear in our lifetime?
Yes, it can. Now we are learning other I would say languages. French. Yes, it is good. And if we do not uh, practice this or study this in our schools, make it compulsory study, it has to be everywhere. At the universities, yes, from kindergarten to the university, everywhere. It has to start from home. Now, people will want their children to speak English or other languages instead of our indigenous languages. And it's a great danger. We will one day miss what we have. There's a language in South Africa, and I learned um, there is only one person left alive who speaks that language. So imagine that person dies. That language is lost.
Mm.
So it is the same thing that can happen. It's a great danger, and our language needs to be everywhere. There are some of our religious leaders, our pastors, they can't even express the word of God in our local language. And it's challenging. So it has to be everywhere. And if we continue to adapt to uh, Western languages, we are going to lose what we have. And it's a great danger to our nation.
Nana, but what happens when languages are lost? What is the effect, really?
Yes, I think we are back again. If we lose our language, we lose our pride as a nation. Yes, and we are not able to express ourselves in developing our nation. Imagine that Ghana was birthed, or Ghana had its practices, and now these practices, like our language, is being ignored. We now try to copy things that are now ours, and in effect, it's a great danger to our nation. Regards to development, which has to go down, decentralized, we don't get it. And we find everything messed up as a nation because we are not able to identify ourselves well.
Right.
So, yes, imagine that I get to the pharmacy to buy a product, and it is not prescribed or has inscriptions in our language. We need to have these things. Yes, it helps us, and language is very important in the sense that it helps us in our health, in our working environment, everywhere. Because it makes us pride ourselves in what we have, to communicate well, to let ourselves understand what we have and improve on always. So briefly,
right.
this is what I would say
You
about
say to
it.
that, right? Now about festivals. I mean, festivals like Omowo, Bechuchu, Abuachi. I mean, they still attract crowds these days, but are we losing the meaning behind them from where you sit?
Are we losing the what?
The meaning behind them.
The meaning. Yes. So that is true. I will use this opportunity to invite all Ghanaians and also in the diaspora of the Kwapim Odra, which is starting next month on the 20th. The paramount chief of the Kwapim, Osiade Okosi Ekufu, the third, is starting his Udra. It's coming up next month on the 20th. Yes, festivals brings a lot of people, and we need to continue to maintain what we have by adapting some modern ways to also to continue to bring people, to teach them, to educate them on what we have. So when you come to Odra this year, there's going to be a lot of cultural display, yes, of our traditions and culture. And we as a Africans, we continue to do our best to portray what we have. And likewise, other ethnic groups. So we are not losing it. We need to continue to adapt to the modern ways, using technology. Now we have festivals and we showcase it. We have festivals. I suggest now we are having ways that some of the practices we do, we try to communicate it in languages that will also let our global audience have understanding of what we are doing. So we are on course. We are on course, and we need to continue to pride ourselves in what we have, believe in what we have, and continue to practice it, to leave it for younger generations to also come and continue. Yes.
So how do we balance modernization and the preservation of traditional practices? How can we do that, Nana?
Modernization and preservation.
Yes. Of our traditional practices.
Yes. Broad, I would say this is broad. I made mention of indigenous knowledge systems. Traditional leaders, we do have ways of preserving our communities, our lands. Some has to do with agriculture. So, in preserving our culture with modernization, I mentioned earlier that Ghanaians needs to be responsible. You do not say we are modernized now, so we will not stick to our customs and traditions. We need to continue to abide in them. So you do say you are modernized or civilized, and you do not want to practice your culture, your tradition, your customs, then how civilized are you? So there are days we say on this day, we do not go to the farm. On this day, we do not go to fishing.
Yeah.
Traditional leaders, in their wisdom and knowledge, know that for you to go to fishing every day, there will not be fish. So there are days they need to put down to say that you don't have to go to fish or go to the farm because the soil or the land needs to reflourish itself for another harvesting. So, in as much as there's modernization or globalization, we don't have to lose some of this indigenous knowledge systems or practices which has been there for a long time. Yes.
I see, but some young people, and I'm not too sure. I don't know if you engage young people a lot, but most young people see traditions as old-fashioned. How do we make culture attractive and relevant to them? How can we do that?
Yes. Why or how do you say that?
Because
something is old-fashioned.
Yeah.
But you do practice that of others. Do you know how old-fashioned beers are? So the fact that we say they are so-called developed nations. So when you say something is old-fashioned, what then are you practicing for you to call it modernity or being modernized? This is what we have. So sometimes I see the younger generation as not having an understanding of what we have. Yes, and we as leaders or traditional leaders have to let our younger generation to understand our practices. Now, they are not secret anymore because we continue to do them. Recently, during Asante Henry's barrier, we had some practices, and we have you, the media. You were, having interviews for them to explain. So, we will forgive their language, calling them old-fashioned, and we will also continue to educate them on what we have. And this has to start from home. It has to start from home, from the schools, and everywhere we find ourselves as Ghanaians. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Nana. Exactly 15 minutes to the top of the hour. This is Business Breakfast on ZED 101.9 FM with me, Trebi Hammond. And this morning I'm talking to the Tufuhini of Adjeso Ekuapim, yes, Nana Bequin Dankwa. And we're having a conversation on whether Ghana is losing its cultural identity in today's world. And if you can join the conversation, I would love to hear from you. Please send us a WhatsApp on 0544321019, 0544321019, or you can call us on 030395661, 030395661, and that we give you the opportunity to share your thoughts. We're streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH on Facebook, and also on YouTube we are Z Multimedia. You may want to drop a comment on our social media platforms, and we'll read them for you. Now we have just a few minutes to go. I want us to. I think we've already spoken about clothing and food as well. I think you mentioned a few things about that, but can businesses like fashion designers, chefs, and creatives help in preserving and modernizing our culture?
Yes, they can. No culture is too unchallenged or sacrosanct on its own. In one way or the other, directly or indirectly, it has influence. Uh, so um, it it can do with the use of uh, what we have, our materials. So these fashion designers, yes, uh, in as much as they use modern ways to design clothes, they have to use our materials of fabric. They have to have designs that tells the Ghanaian story or identity. So they have a big role to play.
Mm.
They have a big role to play regarding the way you dress. Because the way you dress is how you will be addressed.
Right.
You'll be addressed as who you are. So we need to, they need to fashion things to tell of who we are. It can have a simple inscription that tells something about Ghana. A simple design that will tell a story.
Mm.
So they have a big role to play, and they can really be of great help to our nation.
All right. Okay. I hope that the fashion designers, chefs who are listening to us this morning would pick that up and then maybe try to apply some of our traditional designs in whatever they are doing. I mean, these are Dinkra symbols and all of these things you talked about earlier. I hope that they do so. Now, Doc, sorry, Nana, I want to know, some say that globalization is actually eroding our culture, and others say it is giving us a chance to actually showcase it. Which of these two is true?
Yes. We need to understand the merits and demerits of everything we do. Today we are speaking English on our culture, and I know you have other programs that you speak languages or indigenous languages that tells what uh, we have. So we always have to apply ways uh, that will be of importance to us. So with so-called globalization or modernization, we don't have to be so obsessed with globalization or modernization, but continue to maintain and practice what we have. There should be a balance, to maintain what we have as we continue to showcase what we have and also practice uh, modernization. So, like I said, uh, directly or indirectly, consciously or unconsciously, um, there is an influence on culture because of our interactions with people, because of marriages, because of of of, of international practices. But we do not have to lose what we have. We have to continue to practice it and not sideline it or leave it behind. Call it archaic or old fashioned, like you made mention. We need to continue to practice it, inculcate it everywhere from 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 beginning to the end. And there should be ways by traditional leaders, government, to continue to put measures so that we do not lose what we have. Like use the word erode. We do not have to, lose what we have as Ghanaians to copy so-called modernization whatsoever. So that is briefly what I'll say about it. We need to continue prioritize what we have as a nation.
Mm.
Yes,
Right.
it should be a topmost priority. Yes, in order not to forego our way of life, practices, and the way we continue to do our things as Ghanaians.
All right, Nana. Thank you very, very much. But maybe finally, what are some practical things every Ghanaian, maybe an ordinary Ghanaian listening to me this morning, can do? What are some of the things they can do to actually help celebrate our heritage and also continue to hold on to the culture that we have?
Yes, let's continue to um, uh, with the food we eat. We have to continue to produce Ghanaian foods in order to stop bringing in that which is not ours. Yes. So the government, I heard in one of their campaign or initiatives, and Kuko, Kitin, and all that. So when we rare what we have and consume it, I think it will help us than bringing what will not help. So we need to continue to produce Ghanaian food, eat what we produce, eat what we have. Then our way of dressing, let us dress as Ghanaians. This is what identifies us. And if we keep on copying, we may lose it. The Ghanaian way of dressing is nice, and you see our this young generation, they dress anyhow. So during Asante Kenya's burial, there was um, the issue, an announcement of how we should dress. You are coming to Asante, so you should know what is done. Ekuapim Odra is coming off next month, and the planning committee has ensured the way of dressing during this Odra. It is a warning to all that you don't come to Odra and dress anyhow. Yes, and this has to do with our culture. So we have a way of dressing. We have a way of doing our things. So I think our chiefs are doing well, and the government need to continue to back us and also put in measures that will curb or stop some of these ways of practices that are not identified as Ghanaian way. The way we dress, our language, we need to continue to practice it. So you will continue, when you come to Ojra this year, you hear of the undiluted Ekuapim tea. Yes, you in Ghana, recently the government was propagating that the Ghana language should be used in schools. So Ghana has to have an identity.
Right.
Like I said, Ghana do not have a culture. Yes. So if the government can say yes, we should go this way. Okay, Chi or Ga or Ewe, Dagbani or whatsoever language. So our culture is diverse, and we need to continue to maintain it. So it can be that we can use Obake in some places, or we can use Akwaba. These are our language. This is us, and we should stop this tribalism, regards to the languages we should use. Recently, there are happenings on that. Let us see ourselves that this is what we have. Whatever language we use anywhere as Ghanaians, it tells who we are. It identifies us. We are one people. Dagbon. Yagbonra is invited to Udra this year. And we are not saying that it's because it's a Kwiapempin. No, we are inviting Dagbonra. So it's a collective thing. It's something we need to unite ourselves as Ghanaians to promote, to propagate, to see ourselves as one people, and do not say that this is not us, this is not us, this is not an accountant, this is not a Gantan, but continue to see ourselves as one, embracing every culture. It is diverse, and we need to embrace all as Ghanaians. This will foster our unity, our development, and progress as a nation.
Right. Well, thank you very much for your time, and thanks so much for sharing this wisdom with us this morning. Really grateful to you.
Thank you for having me. And I look forward that we continue to educate. And I want to commend you all for the great job you guys are doing.
Thank you very much.
ZED Multimedia.
Thank you.
I'll use the opportunity to greet the Paramount Chief of Akuapem Traditional Area of Siadero, Kosie Kufu III, to my Chief Adisohene Ojiawo Nana Tete Pimpo, and Edruhene Ojiawo Nana Kwame Hineku II. Thank you so much, and may God be with us all.
Right, thank you very much, Nana Bekwi Dankwa. He is a Tufuini of a Jesu Akuapem, and he joined us this morning for this all-important conversation, trying to understand exactly whether we've lost our identity or whether we are losing it in today's world. It has been a very eye-opening conversation, hearing from Nana Bekwi Dankwa, the Tufuini of a Jesu Akuapem, reminded us that culture is not just something in the past. It's actually alive, it is here, and it's meant to guide us into the future. Now, the truth is that globalization and modernization will always come, whether we like it or not. But whether we lose our identity, our cultural identity, or allow it to evolve with pride depends on the choices we make every day. On the language we speak at home, the clothes we wear, and the values that we pass on to our children. All of that matter. So as we wrap up this morning, I just want to leave you with a question. In your own little way, how are you keeping Ghana's cultural identity alive? In your own little way, how are you doing that? Well, thank you very much for staying with us right here on the Business Breakfast on ZED. This is how we wrap up today. We're back again on Monday for more conversations right here on your lifestyle, your leisure, and your business platform. My name is Nitrebi Hammond, and do enjoy the rest of your weekend. And when you think Ghana, I beg you, please think ZED. Bye-bye.